used to watch Countdown with Keith Overman. Um, he was our KTLA sports reporter here for a while before he became the big time on MSNBC. He would refer Glenn Beck as Lonesome Rhodes. And for the longest time, I was wondering, who is this Lonesome Rhodes, right? So I came across a movie. I watched the movie on YouTube, A Face in the Crowd, written by Bud Schoenberg. Now, Bud Schoenberg was the founder of the Watts Writers Workshop, which, of course, I still know someone who was a part of that workshop, or part of my writers group. But Mr. Schoenberg wrote A Face in the Crowd. It was a movie made in 1957. It starred Andy Griffith, as Lonesome Rhodes, Patricia Neal, and Walter Matthau. The story is like this, without giving too much away. Lonesome Rhodes was a radio host. He had a popular radio show. It gained a lot of viewers and a lot of listeners who listened to his extreme views, who listened to views that to the average person didn't make sense, but to his listeners made every sense in the world. And with that, he was gaining popularity, and it was up here. He was doing sponsorships, and his message was just so huge. It really started to affect everyone. But something happens along the way to where Mr. Rhodes started losing supporters, and by the end of the movie, he's basically powerless. And not to say that Glenn Beck's the only one who once upon a time was up there, but now he has his own media platform to blaze. But to say that in the public eye, you could be on top one day. You could be on top, you could be growing one day, and then it takes that one slip up, that one huge mistake, and then people will stop listening to you. And how many times does that happen, right? Now, either through death or the fact that they happen to slip, who knows? I used to listen a lot to Wally George and Morton Downey Jr. growing up because I was interested. I was very much interested. I used to watch Morton Downey Jr. at 12 o'clock at night after Nightline here in LA. And I would watch the show and see on the guests and see him more just with a cigar, and he would just yell at the guests and rail about the country, how he loved America and things like that. But again, after the show ended and his popularity began to wane a little bit, it just shows you that those kind of firebrand individuals who express a view just are on top one day and then slowly fade away, right? And that's really how they treat these internet stars today. These internet stars, these social media platform gurus, who would make all these statements, all these controversial remarks about race, about gender, about politics. You have to treat them the same way that people once treated Mr. George and Mr. Downey, and even though Rush Limbaugh just continuously started to be this icon for the conservative right after death, is still the fact of the matter is that you have your time, the media takes notice of who you are, and then the plateau. You start to go down in popularity and in influence. And that's the proper way, I think, to deal with individuals like that. Not in the case of Mr. Kirk. Now, again, who knows how long his death will be that turning point, as many people have speculated. I believe that, again, in the case of Mr. George and of Mr. Downey, the plateau is right there. But then the more that you listen to the views, the more that you happen to hear what they have to say, the viewpoints, the stances they take, how much would we, the American public, take that before it start to go down? Now, there's still supporters out there of the individuals that I've just mentioned, but again, that support or that interest goes down over time, right? Just decreases year after year after year after they reach the summit. And of course, on the left, same thing, right? Same thing has happened on the left. You have their hosts who on top, and then they fall down. This is the way that the world works. Is the way everything is supposed to work. You're supposed to rise a certain level, and then all of a sudden you reach that very top of the mountain, and then you start to slide down. And that's exactly what it is. And we shouldn't take these people too seriously. We do know they have an audience. They're catering to that audience. They're speaking to that audience. They're addressing topics they feel the audience will listen to and agree with. And once over time that they've said the 500th controversial topic they have to say, then it begins to dip downward. And then these people become irrelevant, right? So I'm saying this because I think at this time, social media, we don't know what we're doing right now. We don't know if our influence is going to be there for a long run or whatever, but I would say that that interest does have a due date. And that due date happens when you're at your highest, because then you start to dip down, and then people will stop listening to you. Your subscriber numbers will decrease. Your listening audience will be less and less. And let's just face it, you said everything you had to say to get you to that point. People heard it, and people either buy what you had to say, or they just said, man, not for me. So again, this is the proper way of dealing with individuals who you may agree or disagree with their viewpoints on. We don't take guns out and we don't shoot them because they say something inflammatory, they embarrassed us in front of all these people. It doesn't work that way. The way that you can disarm someone is to stop listening to them, right? I mean, this platform is a great example of that. There have been hosts on here who had their moment in the sun, and then once they reach that point, plateau. They don't have the same type of influence they once had. Maybe you can see across the board. If you've been following channels for a long time, you know that's exactly what's been happening. But I think that's it's the human way of using that power. You have the choice to listen to these individuals continuously or not. That is up to you. And really, there's nothing an individual can do about it, because once you stop listening to the voice, they don't have the power anymore. You and I have the power to shut them down. We have the power not to listen to them. We have the power to turn our backs and walk away. That's been a tale from time immemorial to now. When you turn your backs on the speaker, you have that power. They don't. So I just want to leave you with that, because I really feel a lot of emotions are out there right now. A lot of hearts, of course, are grieving. The death of anyone, in the case of Mr. Kirk, is always a tragedy, no matter who it is. Death is always never easy. And trust and believe, no matter what side of the fence that they're on, we all go to the one place where that side of the fence never matters. It doesn't even count. So we have to be very careful with each other. We have to be very careful how we deal with each other. If a person has a different point of view, again, like I mentioned, that point of view may be popular for the moment, but turn your back and walk away if you don't agree. You have the power to do that. So, as I close, I want to say, if you've enjoyed what you've heard, if you think it makes some sense, please don't forget to like or subscribe to this channel. And also, I want you to take a look above at the projects that I'm still working on. My books, my articles, interviews, past and present, and find out who is this person talking to you at this moment in time wherever you're watching this. But with that being said, I want to wish each and every one of you the best in your life. Just remember that you're doing the best you can in these days and times where things are difficult. Continue to do the best you can, no matter what. Race, nationality, political spectrum, either side that you're on, You're all doing your best. So continue to do that and just pray that everything will be fine. With that being said, I do want to wish everyone a great day, evening, week, whenever you're watching this. And always in closing, take care.